Hey guys, um, welcome to another video. I'm sure you've seen the title, and I'm still a little bit shaken up from it, but I was in a car accident. Uh, Luckily, no one was hurt. I'm okay. And if there is a greater being out there, thank you. So I'm going to structure this kind of depressing video uh, in kind of a story mode. I'm going to organize it so that I'm going to explain the story first, the damages, and then also what I'm going to do going forward. So first, that it was 10 p.m. and I'm driving back home after a night out with some friends, and you know uh, the road on the way home is dark. There's not a lot of street lights. Um, as you can see in some of the photos, I had my high beams on, did all that I could. And so right outside the city we were coming out of, or the town that we were coming out of, there's like an S curve, uh, that's kind of like sweeping through, and this S curve, it's kind of a little bit of a blind S curve where it's like kind of like it dips in and then uphills up, and as you're exiting the S curve uphill, you can't really see what's on the other side of that hill, right? And so as I was driving, right here is the impact actually, but there was a really huge boulder in that lane, in the lane I'm driving on. And so as I react to that, I swerve onto oncoming traffic. Luckily, there wasn't any oncoming traffic, but I had to swerve onto that lane to avoid, the collision. But unfortunately, uh, the car did collide with the boulder, and it sent the car flying. Well, it sent the car into a slide, and it ended up facing against the wall. So that's kind of the story. Obviously, this is a pretty big accident in terms of just accidents in general. Luckily, I was the only vehicle involved. Nobody else was involved. Not like no pedestrians, no nothing. It was just my vehicle alone. The passengers are fine. Everyone seems to be okay. I'm fine. I hope I'm okay. I'm just still, like I said earlier, shaken up by this whole situation. Moving on. After the car came to a halt. I luckily in my car, the rear view mirror, there's an SOS button, and so I pressed it because I don't know how severe the situation was. Like I don't know if the car was at a dangerous state or not, because a collision like that could mean quite a lot. And so the SOS basically calls the nearest patrol station. So the police came, one fire truck came, and then they automatically connected me to my insurance company, so that they could call a tow truck to tow the car to a safer place, get it off the road, so that other drivers could drive on the road safely. The entire process was smooth. To say the least. The police questioned or asked me like for my basic information and just like what happened. And so I gave my statement. And yeah, the tow truck came, picked up my car, and drove it to their shop. And so after that, now it's basically all up to insurance to see whether or not they want to reimburse the cost, because at this it's it I believe I'm at zero fault, and I hope to believe that I'm at zero fault in the perspective of the insurance company. The county, the region, also might have to reimburse for failing to meet safe conditions or safe driving conditions at the very least, because like, yes, I know these things happen, but it was a big boulder, as you can see from this picture. The boulder's as big as the curb, so imagine driving straight into a curb, right? So that's the second part of the story that's not yet happened yet, but I will keep you guys updated if that does happen, or the aftermath of what happened. Yeah, so let's move on to damages. Most of the impact was on the front right side, and I think that's actually a good thing rather than like a front-on, like in the middle collision. As the car was facing the wall, it was still on. The car was still running, so there weren't any like I don't think there's like a major problem with the issue, like with the engine or like any of the some of the, like the major components. I do know the rock or the boulder did go under the car at one point, and so like the rear of my rear bumper, it's coming off as well. So as the same with the exhaust. I think there's some damage to like the undercarriage of the vehicle. But most of the impact or most of the damage is in the front, I guess like the frame, the subframe of the vehicle, which is actually like the best case scenario, because that's the strongest part of the vehicle, or that's like the sturdiest part of the vehicle. Yeah, like the front bumper, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna need a new one. Like I don't know what we're talking about in numbers for repairs. Yeah, obviously if I wanted to fix and repair everything, it'll be quite hefty, which is why insurance is there to kind of come in clutch. But yeah, front right tire, the tire's gone. Maybe the rim might be warped, I'm not sure. Front fender, hood, front bumper, all of the sensors that go in front, all of those are probably going to need to be replaced. I wasn't able to open the hood, so I don't know what the damage looks like in the engine bay. The driver steering wheel airbag deployed or detonated, so that is a big problem as well, because you're gonna have to get a certified Hyundai, in this case Hyundai airbag, to meet the compliance levels and all the other safety compliances, which is I'm guessing it's going to be a big hassle. Yeah. Luckily, the interior is fine. No glasses, no windows were cracked. Windshield's fine. Everything from the front wheel back seems to be fine. Everything seems to be working. All the electronics was working after the crash or after the accident. Bluetooth was working. Obviously, at the end of the day, like it's like I don't know how severe the damage is, just face value. The the repair shop is going to have to kind of tell me all of the damages as as we deal with the situation. But I'm gonna leave the damages there for now, because we don't know how much or how little the damage is, or if it's even repairable, or if I should just call the car and label as the car as like totaled. And which brings me to this last section of the video, which is moving on. What am I going to do? Based on what the insurance company says, what the county says, if I'm able to get reimbursements or whatever kind of monetary value, because I'm at zero fault. Okay, there's a huge boulder in the middle of the road in the dark, on the road. It's dark on the road. It was difficult I couldn't avoid it. It was difficult to avoid. And the fact that another driver would have came, with this situation, it's a danger hazard. At the end of the day, it's still a danger hazard. And I was the unlucky one to actually, get into the collision. Based on what the insurance company says, if I get a reimbursement to fix the vehicle, obviously, it'll become more of a time problem. Like, I won't have a car to drive for the next however many months that take to fix the car. Order the new parts, replace the parts, test and see the vehicle is safe, meets safety compliances, and all that stuff, all that stuff. If I decide the car is totaled, and I, at the end, and like obviously, I'm expecting some sort of reimbursement, hopefully. If the car is totaled, that's okay. The reimbursement that comes in, we'll have to find another option for that. But the way I see it is either the only two options really are labeling the car as totaled, or getting the reimbursement to repair the car. I'm a little bit leaning on totaling the car. This is a big accident. In terms of damage, this is a big collision. The main problem with a collision like this is the subframe. If the subframe is bent in any way, that's really bad. The wheel seems to be warped. So that might mean a little bit of damage to the rotors. But that technically could all be replaced. That's just, a very hefty sum. So it might just be more simpler to have the car totaled, and with the reimbursement, purchase a new vehicle or another vehicle. So that's the end of the story. I'm grateful to still be walking on two legs. I'm grateful that no one was hurt. And I hope everyone is careful on the road. I was being careful as well, but sometimes some of these situations are inevitable. And I did my very best to make sure we didn't end up on the other side of that curb. The best case scenario happened where we, collided with the wall, which is it is the best scenario, because on the other side of that guardrail is water, like a lake, and that would mean that would have been a different story that I don't even want to think about. So this is a life lesson that I've learned over my 10 plus years of driving experience. I've driven since I was 16, And so, you know, with all this driving experience, this was my very first big accident. Um, I've never had any fender benders. Uh, I do speed, but that wasn't the case here. It was just luck of the draw, and I got dealt a bad hand. But to people who are watching, to you guys who are watching, drive safe, be safe. I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully, with some more good news. Yeah, take care.